So just settle into a nice, comfortable seated posture. Actually, Lou, Venerable was asking about you today. I told her you were coming to the meditation. She was delighted. Okay. Okay, so just get comfortable. Both feet flat on the floor, about a hip's width apart. Feel the weight of your sits bones in your seat, your feet on the floor. Just feel the sensation of the weight of the foot. Maybe any other sensations, and then perhaps maybe in your mind's eye you see a texture or you see a color, and maybe feel a texture. Feel the backs of your legs on your chair, the weight of your sits bones or your coccyx on whatever surface you're sitting on, and then try and allow your shoulders and your hips to come into alignment. And then the ears, align the ears with the shoulders. And imagine your spine is this beautiful string of pearls of light stretching from the base all the way up through the crown of the head and beyond. And you want to put a little bit of length in the back of the neck. So your chin is a little bit, tipped downwards, so you don't want to have your chin looking, sticking up in the air like that. What happens is it creates a tension in the back of the neck at the base of the occipital bone. And that creates tension in your mind, apparently. So just go to the crown of the head and release any tension there. Relax your, the top of the head, your crown there. Relax the forehead, the eyebrows, the eyes, the nose, the cheeks, the area around the mouth. Relax the back of the tongue, the ears, the jaw, back of the head, and allow your shoulders and shoulder blades to drop down. Relax your throat and your chest and your belly and all of your limbs. Bring some awareness to the sensations of the breath as you inhale and exhale. Be aware of any sound in your environment, including any potential distractions. Notifications, smells, pets, people. Be aware of any thoughts that might be bubbling up in your mind. Maybe something's happened today, or you've watched something on the news, had a conversation with someone, or not had a conversation with someone that you were wanting to. Just allow all the stories to sort of bubble up in your mind, to arise and abide, and just release them. Send them off. And just whatever's in your mind, just try and be objective about what's there. So we get so wrapped up in the emotion of the thoughts that are in our mind. We start thinking things and we get into the story, and then we start getting all emotional about it. But I think if we could catch it before we had created the story, we wouldn't probably suffer so much. And then just bring to mind all the people of your life, your loved ones, strangers, and then the ones you don't like, remembering these people are all equal. Just like you and me, they want to be happy, they don't want to suffer, and they all have this extraordinary capacity for a Buddha mind. So we'll think there is no negativity that can't be purified. And this purification process is basically a psychological one. And we create negativity with our mind. So equally, we can change that by creating positivity instead. We start with this power of regret. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all of our past lives. And think of specific actions of both your body and your speech, and then in general regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma. And we experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions. And so having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. And we cannot bear the thought of any future suffering that we will experience. And we know from our present suffering, we don't want any more. So logically, it makes sense to remove the karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So we think, I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows, because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. And also regret any anger, attachment, and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others. And then think again, I'm sick of this suffering. And then think, well, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? And then we come to this power of reliance, and I'm going to sneeze. Oh, excuse me. And then the first section is reliance. So we rely upon, we turn to the Buddha, who is a doctor, who has these methods that we can use to purify. And it's not that we need Buddha to forgive us. We're purifying ourselves by relying upon his medicine. So imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head. You can also imagine this is the mind of your teacher manifesting in this form for your benefit. And he's made of this radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. He has a beautiful, radiant face. His eyes are long and peaceful and full of love and compassion for you and all these people of your life. He has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart. The left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell, which represents wisdom, and the right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion. And their being crossed represents the union of these two. And this symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. And then we have this section on developing compassion. And in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings, the very beings we've harmed, and those who have harmed us, by developing compassion for them. So think particularly of people you've harmed recently and in the past, and then in general, all beings we have ever harmed since beginningless time. And then remember those who have harmed you and have compassion for them, because the harm they've caused you is going to result as suffering for them sometime in the future. So make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the sake of all these beings, and think, I must purify for their sake. And then we come to this power of remedy, and this is the medicine doing the practice of purification. And we start with the body, and Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart, and it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you've ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left, as you recite the mantra. Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita Meboa Sutukaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimbiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida meboa, sutukaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anarakta meboa, sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me, sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan, sawa tata gata vajramami musa vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe. Vajrasattva samayam manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita, jida meboa, sutukaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, Anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan. Sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe. Vajrasattva samayam manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita. Jida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa. Anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me. Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita jida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think that there's no way you could do anything other than benefit others now with your body. And next is the purification of our speech, and Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and it arcs around and quite forcefully enters your crown and fills your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech, and this overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So you imagine all the gossip and the harsh speech and the useless speech and lying and talking about people behind their backs, getting other people to agree with you. All of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as we recite the mantra again. Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida meboa, sitokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anurakta meboa, sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me, sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe, vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita, jida meboa, sitokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, Anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita jida meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Petita Jida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mempiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Petita Jida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawasidi Mempiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Triyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Petita Jida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mempiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe. So again, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified, and imagine it's not possible to do anything other than benefit others now with your speech. And next is the purification of our mind, and Vajrasattva very compassionately, very happily sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So you just imagine it's like when you walk into a room, it's pitch black, you flick on the switch and the light comes. So it's instant, isn't it? And so the same thing here, the moment the light from Vajrasattva's heart hits your heart chakra, all the darkness of the negativity of your mind, all your attachment and neediness and anger and bitterness and grudges and depression and resentment and jealousy, all of this instantly dispelled, not one atom left as we recite the mantra again. Vajrasapa Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Jida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mempiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Jida Meboa, Sitokaya Meboa, Sipokaya Meboa, Anurakta Meboa, Sawasidi Mempiyata Sawa Kamasita Me, Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan, Sawatata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe, Vajrasapa Samayam Manupalaya, Vajrasapa Dina Petita, Jida Meboa, Sitokaya Meboa, Sipokaya Meboa, Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mempiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Jida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mempiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Jida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mempiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Jida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mempiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Jida Meboa, Sitokaya Meboa, Sipokaya Meboa, Anurakta Meboa, Sawasidi Mempiyata Sawa Kamasita Me, Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan, Sawatata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe. So be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are completely purified. And think that there's no space in your heart now for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. And next is the purification of even the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. And this time imagine that Vajrasattva sends light and nectar, and it fills you completely and eradicates even these subtlest imprints of negative energy from your consciousness. And so how you do it is you imagine nectar flowing down, pushing out all the negativity of the body, and then the nectar flowing up, pushing out all the negativity of the speech, and then the light comes and just blasts all of the delusions. So that's all happening at the same time. And then also happening at the same time is you reciting the mantra. So you just eradicate these very, very subtle imprints. Om Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mempi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Maha Samaya Sattva A Hum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida meboa, sitokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anarakta meboa, sawasidi mempi yato sawa kama sitame, sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe. Vajrasattva samayam anupalaya, vajrasattva dina patita, Jida meboa, sitokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anarakta meboa, sawasidi mempi yata sawa kama sitame, sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe. Vajrasattva samayam anupalaya, vajrasattva dina patita, Jida meboa, sitokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anarakta meboa, sawasidi mempi yata sawa kama sitame, sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe. Vajrasattva samayam anupalaya, vajrasattva dina patita, Jida meboa, sitokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, Anarakta meboa sawasidi mempi yata sawa kama sitame, sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe. Vajrasattva samayam anupalaya, vajrasattva dina patita, jida meboa, sitokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anarakta meboa sawasidi mempi yata sawa kama sitame, sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe. Vajrasattva samayam anupalaya, vajrasattva dina patita, jida meboa, sitokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anarakta meboa, sawasidi mempi yata sawa kama sitame, sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe. So now feel completely purified. There's not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have been removed. And now we come to this power of resolve, and this is the fourth and the final step in the purification process, and it's a really crucial one. And this is this determination to refrain from harming with our body and our speech and our mind. And without this, we're just going to be doing the same old things over and over again. So this determination, this aspiration to refrain from harming becomes like a beacon that guides our body and our speech and our mind in new directions. So think of something that you'd like to work on between now and tomorrow. Some little thing that you know may be harmful for yourself or others. Could be something that is driven from attachment or something that's driven from anger. Could be self-rumination, like we do. Yeah, just think of something that's a little bit of a habit, a mental habit, a physical habit. And then see if you can think about, first of all, becoming aware of it, and then See if you can think about changing it. So this determination to refrain from doing things gives us quite a bit of strength to change. It gives us a plan anyway. So Vajrasattva is delighted with us and wants to merge with your mind, melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown. And think, my teacher's body, speech and mind, Vajrasattva's body, speech and mind, and my own body, speech and mind are the same. So next Rinpoche would recommend to meditate on emptiness. So in emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma. And there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, place your mind there for a little while. We can think of all phenomena as being empty. They do not exist from their own side. You can also think that the way things appear to me may not necessarily be the way they actually exist. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy you've created doing this practice to all living beings and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. All right, everyone. So let's just do chanting the names of Manjushri. Is that where? Oh, there we are. The great attachment of all living beings, attachment free, comparable to space, when springing up in every creature's mind, he is for every being as swift as mind. Aware of all the aptitudes of beings, while captivating every creature's mind, with insight into aggregated natures, himself with fully pure five aggregates. Atop the peak of every going forth, most skilled in going forth in every way, established on all parts of going forth, the teacher of all forms of going forth. All right, everyone. Let's have a strong wish for His Holiness the Dalai Lama to live long and for the swift return of our precious Lamas of Rinpoche, and then for all of our own individual teachers to live long. All right, everybody. Lots of love. Sleep well. Have a good rest of your day, those of you in Australia, and I will see you tomorrow. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Thank you.